Welcome to Lowcountry View with Earl Yates. I'm your host, and today my guest is Ken and Sue Kroupa. They're here with Crossroads Community Support Services, which is a nonprofit organization here in the Lowcountry. I just can't say enough how important services like the one they offer, how important they are to our community, and how important it is not only for those services, but to have people like Ken and Sue in our community, because not all of us are fortunate enough to have the means to take care of all of our needs as much as we'd like to, you know? And in a community where some fall short, it's a must that those who have a surplus take care of them. I mean, like it says, God provides for all of us, but some of us keep it away from those who don't have. And thankfully, you do have people like Ken and Sue that, from the graces of their heart, reach out to not only themselves, but also to us and help us to understand how important it is to help those who are in need. Ken, how we doing, sir?
Great.
Sue?
Thank you for having us, Earl. We appreciate it.
It's all my pleasure.
Thank
I mean,
you.
I feel blessed every time I'm next to someone who is absolutely giving as much as you do. I try to give a little bit, but you know, it's wonderful to see how much devotion you have to it.
Well, but you have to understand, it's not just us.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a lot of people who work with us that make this work and make it important for our community.
Well, I'll just let you start. Of course, I gave the introduction to it either. You know, just let's start with Backpack Buddies, because that's a heart warmer in itself. All of our viewers would love to hear about that.
That's Sue's baby. I'm going to let her tell you.
Ah, there it is. Well, let's.
Backpack Buddies is my baby. It's something we've wanted to do for a long time. It is actually a nationwide program that was started by Feeding America. In this area, the Lowcountry Food Bank in Charleston is the supplier of the food. It's really their program, and we simply facilitate. Very interestingly, Backpack Buddies started in Beaufort. It's on St. Helena. It's on Ladies Island, and it is here on Hilton Head. In Hilton Head, they're feeding about 125 people right now, kids, every weekend. And what we've discovered is that there are a lot of children in all of these communities who go home on the weekend and there's no food. The political term is chronically food insecure, but these are the little ones who come to school Monday morning and they're hungry, they're sick, they're aggressive, they can't concentrate, and they're the first ones in line for breakfast. So we've been very fortunate through Crossroads to be able to take on the program here in Bluffton, not here in Bluffton, in Bluffton. We work with two schools, two Title I schools, Red Cedar and MC Riley, and right now we're feeding 80 kids, 40 from each school. Every weekend, they go home with their little blue knapsacks, and it's filled with 30 pounds of food. We work with 5 different churches who are helping us to raise the money, who do the volunteer work, and it is truly a gift. It's a gift from God to let us do this program.
I mean, that's amazing to think that kids that on a normal circumstance would pretty much go throughout their weekend hungry. And not only are you feeding these kids, but their families being supplied with it.
And we need to give credit where credit is due. We were mentored by the Hunger and Homeless Coalition here on Hilton Head
Absolutely.
Island. And we learned from their experience last year as they implemented Backpack Buddies for the first time here on Hilton Head. And they taught us what we needed to know to be able to kick it off right in Bluffton this year. So credit to the Hunger and Homeless Coalition.
It's such a blessing to be in a community that gives back so much, you know? I mean, no matter where you are, I mean, so many people look at Hilton Head and you see the outside view would be that of your beaches, your marshes. Of course, you have those luxury hobbies like golf and tennis, and you have so much of that. You go through the plantations and see the wealth that's there, and you really can't think that there would be a situation where there are homeless and hungry people here. But wherever there is wealth, there's going to be people there that are still in need. And you do such a wonderful job of picking up the torch. But of course, Backpack Buddies is not the only thing you do. Now this one I'll give to you, Ken.
One of the things Crossroads does is we try to build relationships and partnerships with other organizations. And one of our board members is a police officer in Bluffton. And he introduced us to an idea that kind of caught on a year ago. We call it Helping Hands. The Bluffton police officers, each Thanksgiving and Christmas, identify 2 families at risk in Bluffton. And these are people who could be at risk for any number of reasons. It could be a medical issue, it could be a joblessness issue, it could be a truancy issue, it could be anything. But the police know them well enough to know that they are at risk and they would benefit from having food on Thanksgiving and Christmas. Our role as a partner with the police department is to come up with the resources, the money to buy the food, the people to go get it and bring it to a location. This year it'll be at the police station where we can pack it into baskets. And then our volunteers and the police officers will deliver that basket of food to each of these selected families. It helps the police build a positive relationship in the communities that they serve, and it gives our volunteers an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of some of those people.
Well, I tell you what, I had the pleasure of having Chief McAllister here on the show, and what a wonderful, wonderful person he is. I mean, right away, you knew that his main concern was not for arresting bad guys. It was about creating a better community. Mm-hmm. And it shows, I mean, to partnership with you guys. And, you know, I loved hearing him speak, but now to hear someone talk about it makes him sound even better.
And
it's amazing.
He is so supportive of this program. It would never have worked if the chief hadn't been behind it. And we're in our 2nd year and we're growing.
And of course, all this love is coming from a church, you know? Mm-hmm. Of course, the church is the base of the greatest love you could possibly have. And there's so many churches that you have on the island that believe in their community. But it's great. What a wonderful thought that you had. So of course decided, okay, there's but so much that a church can do itself. But now you've created this situation with the Crossroads Community Support Services to where you can branch out and have that be a center hub for getting other companies along to help. What a wonderful thing. I mean, it must be pretty easy for you two to sleep at night, for sure.
It's getting up the next day.
That's okay. That's okay. But before we escape time, of course, we came here for the nonprofit reason. But I want to hear a little bit about yourselves. Please, where are you from?
We came here 4 years ago from Pennsylvania. We were involved at that time in a church plant. Unfortunately, we didn't water it properly, and the plant didn't take.
That was when we moved here.
But we found Grace Coastal Church, and we found a group of people with a real heart for local mission work. But any one church is very limited in resources. They can only do so much. So the concept of Crossroads was born out of that. So we could build partnerships and collaborations with other organizations and other churches, and then share those resources to address needs. So that really was exciting to us. Sue and I are both retired human resources people. One of the first requests we got was for an unemployment support group. And we were asked, could Crossroads come up with a supportive, instructive group setting where people who are struggling to find jobs can learn how to do that the right way, so they're not spinning their wheels and they're not just scared to death because maybe they haven't looked for a job for a long time. Mm-hmm. We said, yeah, we can put together a model and we hope other people would copy it. So our human resources background got into this employment workshop thing, which has expanded now to include all the other programs that Crossroads has.
Well, you know, I always think to myself, if you ever want to know what kind of person you're dealing with, ask them to talk about themselves. And normally, if they can talk about themselves for a long time, you're probably dealing with somebody who cares only about themselves.
There's much more interesting things to talk about.
Absolutely. Here it is. I asked Ken about you guys, and it's back to Crossroads, which says so much. That's why it's not about you. Your life is not about you, and that's what being Christian is. You know, when you're a Christian, your life's not about you.
I would like to say it really is about the community.
Absolutely.
We have just been amazed at the community support. If you just take Backpack Buddies, we didn't have to go out and recruit churches to work with us. The minute the word got on the street that we were going to be doing Backpack Buddies, our phone was ringing off the hook of people who want to work with us to volunteer, to help fund the program. So we know that we're going to be able to grow this program tremendously, not because of us, but because of the community that wants to see hunger in our communities alleviated. You know, you start with one baby step. Next year we'll come and tell you about the next bigger step we're taking.
Yes, absolutely. And how well you're waking up. Ken.
It's just going to bed late.
Good to see you.
That's okay.
Earl, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Well, of course, this is Lowcountry View, and for the first part of the show, I've had the lovely Ken and Sue Kroupa, who from the Crossroads Community Support Services has given us their time and certainly the community their efforts to show that the most important thing we can do is make sure that those around us are well taken care of, that life is not just about us. Most of the times it's not about us at all. It's about what we do in return for those around us. So take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Lowcountry View with Earl Yates. I'm your host, and for the second part of my show, I have Prillaman. Lovely, lovely woman. I've had the pleasure of speaking to her before the camera came on. She also has ties to Ken and Sue, who was on the first part. They both are on the board of the Children's Center, which is the reason why we're here right now to speak about the Barnes & Noble's book fair, which is going on the 20th?
The 12th.
The 12th of November, and the book fair is going to be from, of course, the opening to the closing of that day at Barnes & Noble's, and it's all to benefit the Children's Center. I mean, it's dear to me because I can remember being a kid and going to the Children's Center, so it's a lovely thing to have Carol on to speak briefly about it. But not only will we speak about the Children's Center, we'll speak a little bit about you, Carol, of course. Welcome to the show first.
Thank you so much, Earl.
Okay, so tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a retired Spanish teacher, and I always knew I wanted to retire in Hilton Head, and we were lucky enough to be able to do that. We're from Virginia, and I have 2 children and 4 grandchildren.
Nice.
So those are the most important things.
Absolutely, and so it's a very, very good thing for you to attach yourself with the Children's Center because, of course, you love kids, obviously.
I do. Even though I taught big kids, I like little kids too. So.
Now, what's your relationship with the Children's Center?
I am the chair of the development committee, and that translated means we raise money.
You're responsible for getting money.
That's what I do.
Understood.
That's what I do.
Now, with the book fair, who's the genius behind this thought processing to come up with having Barnes & Noble's sponsor this event?
Well, Barnes & Noble is kind enough to make that a national project that they do for nonprofits. And if you go to them and ask to be part of a book fair, then they will assign you a date. And you have the whole day and the store to have activities, to have a wish list table of books you would like for your organization. And then you can put up posters, you can give out vouchers, and when people make their purchase, if they have the voucher, then we get a percentage. Barnes & Noble gives us a percentage of your purchase.
Now, of course, the voucher is very important.
Yes, it is.
Now, how would our viewers go about getting a voucher?
Okay, the best way would be to go to our website. And our website is www.thechildrenscentersc.org. And I think you have it on your screen.
Yes.
If you forget all of that, just Google the Children's Center and you'll find our website. You go on the website and you can print off a voucher. You print off a little poster, a voucher for yourself, and a voucher for a friend.
Nice.
And then you can invite all your friends to come and have a cup of coffee and shop for books. It's a great time to look at your Christmas list and see all those children's books and the relatives who need a book about this or that. You may as well do it on Saturday the 12th at Barnes & Noble. If you don't live here, you can do it at any Barnes & Noble.
Nice.
Anywhere, as long as you have the voucher.
Now, is this any book or any purchase there?
It's anything except e-books and gift cards. So any other purchases are okay.
Well, good. I mean, I can remember being a kid and the book fair actually coming to the school.
Mm-hmm.
And so to think that, you know, you can be a kid or an adult now.
That's right.
And decide that Barnes & Noble is where your book fair is, that's a very, very special thing.
It is,
for sure.
and we're hoping that it'll work like all other shopping does. When you get there, you're going to see some things that you didn't know you needed, and so you'll maybe purchase a few more things. And you can even purchase a specific book for the Children's Center at the wish list table. So that's a good thing, too.
And of course, just the fact that your purchases are taking care of some of the kids at the Children's Center, that's a very special thing also.
Well, just like at home, you need new books. And some children don't have very many books at home, so it's important that the quality of the books we offer them at the Children's Center is top-notch, that it matches what they're going to see when they go to public school, so that they're not behind, so that they have been exposed to the same kind of literature and opportunity that children who go to private kindergartens and play schools and preschools. So we're hoping that we can really increase our books and replace some that need replacing in this way.
So that's your wish list table, that you go to the table and there's a list of books that are needed at the Children's Center.
The actual book will be there. You can take the actual book and purchase it.
Oh, nice.
For the center. And then all the money that we make from all your purchases will be used by the teachers to choose the books that they want for their classrooms. So they will get to do their own shopping after Barnes & Noble gives us the percentage.
Now, as far as the Children's Center, how many students or little ones do we have in the Children's Center?
Okay, we have between 160 and 170 at Hilton Head, and that's at Jarvis Creek Park, right adjacent to the park. And then we have 67 right now in Bluffton, which is on Bridge Street. It shares the Calhoun Station building.
Nice, nice.
And it's flexible. Sometimes, you know, you might have more one week than the next, or fewer in the summer and more in the winter. It just depends. It's for working families. So when mom has a job and she can't stay home, then the children can come to the Children's Center.
Well, that's a large part of our community these days. I mean, I can remember being a little kid and coming up to the Children's Center right there at the corner of Matthews Drive and Marshland.
That's right.
And I have fond memories of it. Even, I'd say the most fond memory I have, which is pretty crazy, is the oatmeal. I love the
Really?
I still think of it to this very day. When I'm making my oatmeal, I think about the oatmeal I had there and try to mimic it for
Well,
sure.
we still provide a hot breakfast, a hot lunch, and a snack before you go home in the afternoon.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And we are one of the, I'm not sure if we're the only one, but we're one of the few child care and preschool centers that take babies.
Oh, nice.
Starting at 6 weeks.
Wow, wow. Well, nice.
So if you haven't come to our new center and looked around and come to the infant room, you've missed a great opportunity.
Wow.
You'll have so much fun.
So it's truly transformed into a community center more than just a children's center.
Yes, it has.
It's so very important because, like you said, you have so many, doesn't even have to be a single mother. So many families these days, both parents have to work.
Both parents are working, and we're open from 6:30 to 6 in the afternoon, so we can accommodate most anybody's schedule.
Wow.
And our parents are, they're just great. They really buy into the operation. They do their part to help us with projects like this and with keeping us aware of what's going on in the community. So that's a good thing, too.
So once you retired here, how did your interest for the Children's Center begin?
Well, I had never been to the Children's Center on Matthews, and they finally realized they needed to do something, build a new school. So a representative came and asked me if I'd like to come for a tour, and that's all it took. Because I was raised in a factory town, and we didn't have a children's center for our parents. So lots of children had to stay home by themselves, or either the older children had to stay home with them. And I wished that we had had that, so I fell in love with it as soon as I went.
Yeah, it's so nice, and certainly, like you said, having an infant center, because it's a very important thing for all communities to know that the children are taken care of, and at every age. I mean, you think of some time ago when we were still in villages, you know, children had their little place that they could go no matter what, where there wasn't an issue of worrying what you could do.
Exactly.
If your finances
and
had
there was
to be taken
always
care
someone
of.
to watch you.
Absolutely.
Always someone to keep an eye on you and make sure you didn't get too far off what was safe. But that's not true now when we all live so far apart and we live in such separate worlds that the children don't see each other. They don't learn how to get along with each other if they don't come somewhere that they can play and learn at the same time.
Absolutely. Well, you know, there's another thing. I did say that the oatmeal was the one thing I remember, but I wish I had nap time still. Nap time was a fantastic thing.
You know, if you told me I had to go over there and take a nap right this minute, I couldn't do it. But these children, they turn the lights off, everybody has a separate little pallet, and they're just dead to the world, and when they wake up, they're ready to go again.
Well, it's amazing because you still have in some societies, you have the little siesta going on, and you know, everyone just takes their time and relax. I think it's something that we take for granted.
Well,
I mean,
we wouldn't be nearly as cranky if we if we
all
all took a nap.
I think we need to just, in this low country, we need to decide that in the middle of the day that everyone has to take a nap. I think a lot of people will be so much better off. Wow. Well, of course, all of our viewers have had that information, and it's a very important thing. And it's a lovely thing you do, Carol. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We hope everybody will do their shopping on November 12th.
No, I'm sure they will. I mean, this is a community of giving, so I'm sure we'll have a very good showing.
Thank you.
So, I mean, you've seen the information. Of course, this is Carol Prillaman, and she's representing the Children's Center of Hilton Head. And of course, on the 12th of November, make sure that's when you come and make your book purchases, whether it's for the Christmas holidays for gifts, or if you have that book on your list to be purchased, hold off for a little bit. The 12th is right around the corner, and not only can you get the book that you've been looking for, but you can also, you know, give back to your community at the same time. And do not forget about that wish list for the Children's Center. Get a book for yourself and also get a book for the kids. And I'm sure it'll make you feel so much better. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Earl Yates, and this is Lowcountry View with myself, Earl Yates, and it was a pleasure to have you. Take care.